Hello everyone, this is the whole slide for data characteristics. Now let's start with what is real world data. So real world data is often noisy, inconsistent and incomplete. Knowledge about the data is very crucial for data preprocessing, and poor quality of data, which has all of these, will result in poor mining and wrong decision based on mining outcomes. So knowing about data is very helpful to make it consistent, complete and less noisy. So what are the types of data sets? The types of data sets which we can which are record. So this is relational records and stored in data matrix, that is numerical matrix or cross tabulation, so like a table, and it might also contain transactional data. So it contains relational records, document data, transactional data and cross tabulation. Now graph and network. This is the World Wide Web, social or information networks and molecular structure networks. Now moving on to ordered data. Ordered data has videos, temporal data, sequential data and genetic sequence data. That is most of it is sequential. Now spatial, image and multimedia. So spatial data, this type of data has spatial data, image data, video data and audio data. Now moving on to the attribute types. So the attributes, a data object or an instance represents an entity in a database. So database rows are data objects and its columns are attributes. Now what are the types of attributes? So attribute types are nominal, that is categories, states or names of things, like the hair color can be black, brown, blonde, red, grey or white. And more examples of nominal data are occupation, ID number, zip codes, etc. Now binary data. So binary data has attribute with only two states, that is 0 and 1. So symmetric binary is that both outcomes are equally important in case of gender, and asymmetric binary are when the outcomes are not equally important, like we are doing a medical test and the positive and negatives are not equally important, like we are biased towards getting a positive outcome as it is better for our understanding. So ordinal data. Values have a meaningful order or ranking, but magnitude between successive values is not known. Like the size of clothing can be small, medium or large, but by how much they differ we don't know that. That is when the attribute is classified as ordinal. Now numeric. So numeric is quantity that is integer or real valued. So it can be integer or real number, that is real valued, and it has two subtypes, that is interval scale and ratio scale. So interval is measured on a scale of equal sized units such as temperature and calendar dates, while ratio is inherent 0 point, that is temperature in Kelvin, and the measure that a 6-foot person is 20% more taller than a 5-foot person? And how much time does a game last? Like a cricket game lasts more than X% more than a football match, and so on. So now moving on to discrete and continuous attributes. So discrete attribute has only a finite or countable infinite set of values. Example, zip codes, profession, or set of words in a collection of documents, and it is sometimes represented as integer variables. And binary attributes are also a special case of discrete attributes. Now, what are continuous attributes? These are real numbers such as temperature, height, or weight. So practically these are real values and can be measured and represented using a finite number of digits, but in total they can be infinitely many. So continuous attributes are typically measured as floating point variables, that is float, double, and long double. Now properties of attribute. So the type of an attribute depends on the following properties it possesses. This is distinctiveness, order, addition, and multiplication. So now let's apply these properties of attribute to the types of attributes we have seen. So nominal category is distinct. It holds the property of being distinct. Now for ordinal, it is both distinct and can be ordered. And for numerical, it is distinct, it can be ordered, and it supports addition. And interval is distinct, has order, and supports addition. Whereas ratio has all three properties, plus it also has one more, that is multiplication. Now moving on to data properties. So motivation. For data preprocessing, it is essential to have an overall picture of your data. So data summarization techniques are very useful here. So for data summarization, we use data properties a lot. So what are data properties? They are centrality and variance. Centrality uses measures such as medians, like how like where is the data centered, and which has the average or the most occurring value, like mean, median, and mode. And whereas variance is used to measure quantities such as quantiles, like how diverse is the data. So now moving on to measures of central tendency. So first is mean. So for a sample size n, we know the formula for mean is summation of xi divided by 1 by n, and we can also change this formula a little bit and calculate weighted mean. So for weighted mean, the formula will be wi xi divided by summation of wi. That is the formula for weighted mean. And what is the problem with mean? It is sensitive to outlier values. Like if we have a data set such as it is the time of a tennis match. So normally we take 4 to 5 hours average, but if you also take in consideration the longest ever match of tennis, it will skew the data. So like normally we would be expecting 4 to 5 hours as a result, and we will get something like 7 hours because of the outlier, which was the extremely large tennis match. So how can we solve this problem? We can do it by trimming the mean, that is chopping off extreme values. So if we just remove the longest match ever, we will again get to 4 to 5 hours as our mean. Now moving on to the second measure of central tendency, that is median. So median is computed on the entire database, and it is the middle value if there are odd number of values and average of the middle two values if there are an even number of values. So it is a holistic measure and it must be computed in the entire data set, and it can be estimated by interpolation. So, that is the holistic measure, that is computing it on the entire data set, is expensive to compute. So we can also estimate the mean of the entire data set using interpolation for group data. Now moving on to mode. It is the most frequent item in the data set, and it is possible that several different values have the greatest frequency. If several different values have the greatest frequency, mode can be unimodal, bimodal, trimodal, and even multimodal, that is having 1, 2, 3 and multiple modes. Now mid-range. Mid-range can also be used to access the central tendency. It is the average of the smallest and the largest value of the set. It is an algebraic measure and it is easy to compute. So it is easy to compute even on a large data set. So for mode of group data. For mode of group data, this is the formula where this is the LMO is the lower boundary of class mode, I is the class width, delta 1 is the difference between the frequency of class mode and the frequency of the class before the class mode, and delta 2 is the difference between the frequency of class mode and the frequency of class after the class mode. Now moving on to dispersion of data. The degree in which data tends to spread is called dispersion or variance of the data. The most common measures of data dispersion are range, 5-number summary, and the interquartile range and the standard deviation. The dispersion of data. So first, range. Range is the distance between the largest and the smallest values. Now kth percentile. Value xi having the property that k% of the data lies below or at the value xi is known as the kth percentile. The median is the 50th percentile, and the most popular percentiles other than median are quartiles, that is Q1 at 25% and Q3 at 75%, and quartiles plus median give indication of center, spread and shape of the distribution. So moving on to box plot, that is the 5-number summary. So this gives 5 numbers, that is the smallest value, the largest value, Q1, Q3 and Q2, that is the median. Smallest value, largest value, Q1, Q3 and Q2, that is the median. Now what is interquartile range? Interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. Now moving on to variance. So variance is algebraic scalable computation, and the formula is given by 1 by n summation of xi minus mu whole square. That is the formula for variance, and standard deviation is the square root of this formula. Now this is the end of our data characteristics, and Thank you for watching.